Hello. Are you ready to order?
I think so. I just wanted to make sure the vegetable soup is actually vegetarian.
Yes. It has vegetables.
And it's made with a vegetable broth?
No. It's made with chicken broth.
Okay. You know, I think I'll just get the pasta with marinara sauce. That doesn't have chicken broth in it, right?
Yes, but just a little bit. You can eat it.
If you are vegan or vegetarian, you're probably all too familiar with that scenario. Unfortunately, a lot of people who aren't vegetarian think that if they use a meat-based broth in a dish that doesn't contain any actual pieces of meat, that it's suitable for vegetarians, and it isn't. Any broths that are made with chicken, beef, seafood, any type of meat are not vegetarian friendly. But it's super easy to make one little switch in those dishes by using a vegetable-based broth. And I'm going to show you today some of my favorite brands and versions of vegetable broth that are really great to use that also taste amazing. The first option that you have is to make your own homemade vegetable broth. It's not that difficult, and there are a lot of resources and cookbooks and online that have recipes and tutorials for showing you how to do that. You can make up a big batch and then freeze it into smaller portion sizes for whatever you're going to use it for cooking wise. If you are not up for that and you want a super convenient solution, what you can do is buy this pre-made vegetable broth. This is a broth by Imagine Foods. It's an organic, no chicken broth. Basically, this is a chicken flavored broth that's 100% vegetarian. This is great if you, for example, are cooking for Thanksgiving. Maybe you have some people who are vegetarian coming, and your stuffing recipe is totally vegetarian except for the chicken broth that you add to it. All you have to do is substitute the same amount of this for the chicken broth in that recipe. Now the vegetarians can eat it, and the people who aren't vegetarian are going to have no idea that anything's different. If anything, they're probably going to think it tastes better than it did before. The other option that you have is to go with concentrates or bouillon cubes or powders. So just to show you a few examples of those. This is a liquid concentrate that you can get at Trader Joe's. It's a vegetable broth, and basically it's these little packets of liquid concentrate. You mix this with water, and 1 cup of water mixed with this is going to give you 1 cup of broth. Again, super convenient, not difficult at all. Then you also have the option of using vegetable bouillon powders or cubes. And to show you some examples of that, I have here by Vogue Cuisine a few different types. I have a vegetarian chicken base, I have a beef flavored base, which is also vegetarian, and an onion base. These are powders, and 1 heaping teaspoon of these powders mixed with 1 cup of hot water is going to give you a cup of broth. You can mix it with hot water or pour it into your soup pot or with your rice or whatever you're making. And then we have my favorite that I use most often. This is a product by Rapunzel. It's a vegan vegetable bouillon, and I like the kind that has sea salt. These to me have the best flavor, and what I like about using these bouillon cubes, 1 of these cubes with 2 cups of hot water is going to give you 2 cups of broth. So 1 of these is good for 2 cups. I like this because if I only need a half cup or 1 cup of broth for a recipe, I can just cut this and use what I need for that. So for example, if you have a stir fry that calls for a half cup of broth, you can cut this into quarters and just use a quarter. Perfect, no waste. This product is going to give you basically 4 of these in this little package. So it's a little bit easier to store, and there's less packaging waste as well. It's super convenient, you always have it on hand, and it tastes good enough that you can drink it straight, which honestly I often do if I'm sick. I used to heat up chicken broth and drink that if I wasn't feeling well, and now I'll just boil some water and drink this straight instead. So you don't have to sacrifice anything. It's a super easy substitute, and there are so many options that you can figure out which one is most convenient for you and you like working with the best. And the back one is calling your name.
Holy cow. I really learned a lot.
Thank goodness. Maybe now you'll stop trying to get me to eat chicken broth.
You bet, sister. Vegetable broth forever.